Hundreds of trucks loaded with food and medical aid sat idle on the roads heading into Gaza recently as a senior humanitarian official accused the Israeli government of blocking life-saving supplies from reaching the devastated enclave. They limit the number of trucks that can pass. Mohamed Nossair, head of operations at the Egyptian Red Crescent, said of Israeli officials and soldiers charged with inspecting aid destined for Gaza. The problem is also they reject these items that are very essential. Oxygen canisters, water filters, metal forks, over-the-counter painkillers and generators were among the items that Nossair said had prevented trucks from entering Gaza, where a vast majority of the people are displaced and more than 32,000 have been killed, according to local health officials. If I have a truck with rejected items, they reject all the truck, Nossair said during an interview with NBC News. On Thursday, the United Nations highest court reinforced Nossair's statements, ordering Israel to open more land crossings to allow food, water, fuel and other supplies into Gaza. Israeli officials have been imposing an opaque and cumbersome process and worsening the dire humanitarian crisis in the Strip, Nossair and other aid officials charge. These accusations, which come amid warnings of an imminent famine inside Gaza, have brought increased criticism of Israel's government and triggered a blame game with aid agencies. Israeli officials have repeatedly denied obstructing aid from entering Gaza, and instead blame the UN for acute shortages of life-saving supplies in the Strip, particularly the north. Members of an NBC News team in Rafah saw hundreds of vehicles on the road, as well as some in a parking area and more at a tunnel crossing in Ismailia, roughly 4 hours and 125 miles from the border crossing. Satellite images from the last week also show trucks on the road and parked near the crossing. According to Nossair, at the time, roughly 100 to 120 trucks enter Gaza per day. About half the number able to be processed by Israel, and a fraction of pre-war levels. Aid agencies and the UN say Gaza needs between 500 and 600 trucks a day carrying both humanitarian aid and commercial goods. Unclear restrictions imposed by Israel have resulted in an average of 20 to 25 trucks turned away every day, about a fifth of the number that end up crossing into Gaza, he said. Supplies taken in wooden crates are rejected outright regardless of what is inside, Nossair said. If pallets of aid don't fit the exact dimensions approved by the Israeli government, he says, those trucks are also rejected. The Israeli government agency responsible for allowing aid into Gaza, Coordination of Government Activities in the Territories, or COGAT, told NBC News that 99% of the aid trucks are approved after being screened. COGAT has said it places no limit on the amount of aid entering Gaza but subjects some items to higher security scrutiny.